Chris from Key Farm. This is not the farm, this is my kitchen. You saw the thumbnail, and I've told you in the past that I make holsters. It's more or less just a wintertime hobby when it gets dark so early. So, this is a Millennium G2 PT 111, a Taurus. First I want to say that every firearm has been checked, and rechecked that they're unloaded. If you're going to do anything making holsters, and you're going to see why they got to be unloaded here in a moment. Anyway, I have made many holsters for this pistol. I've probably had it 4 years. Many holsters. But this year's model, something special. This year's model has a laser. Man, I'm really digging the laser. But if you look at these two guns, you see how much extra space the laser takes up. So even though these are very similar, all the holsters in the world for that one won't accommodate this one. But in today's video, we're going to try to get to this point right here. This, when that's a holster, will slide in there just fine. Check that out. Check that out. So, we first got to get to our piece of imprinted leather. Leather. Yesterday I called it weather. I've shot this video about 3 times. So, I think the best way is for me to explain things sitting here with the camera pointed down. So keep watching, and there's a time lapse at the end of this video. It's only 2 minutes of time lapse, and it shows the whole process. Keep watching. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, to make this easier, I am going to utilize some pictures that I've took along the way. So all we got to do is get your skill saw, 3/4 inch plywood. Seems to work pretty well for a gun that's about 1 inch wide. So what you're going to do is you're going to lay the gun down there. And you're going to trace all the way around it very carefully till you got the outline of the gun. Cue the picture. So then once you have the outline of the gun, just say for instance, if I draw that line right there, you're going to go back around it about 3/16 and 1/8 maybe, and you're going to go around it again. Cue the picture. And then, because you're trying to get to this, we're making a mold for leather is what we're doing. So then you take your drill bit, drill right there so you can get your saw blade in there. And you want to cut around the line that is the shape of the gun. Cut your gun out, okay? And then take your jitterbug, mouse sander, whatever you got, and sand every edge. Whether it be in here, just sand everything, because you need a replica of your gun out of plywood. There you have it. And then you're going to cut the outer line. Oh, one more thing about this. Where the slide is, I make a little notch there so that when the leather imprints, it'll imprint, and when this is in there, it will help hold it in a little bit. So then you go around the outside line, cut the outside line, and I use thin jigsaw blades. You'll see a picture of it. So anyway, then we get that, and you have to sand everything very well. Alright, much of what you're going to see today comes straight from Hobby Lobby. This roll of leather, after their 40% off coupon, is I think $27, and it's enough to do plenty of holsters. This dye, it comes this color. The dye, you can dye it any color you want. Everything's available at Hobby Lobby. Okay, I'm going to use this thin piece of upholstery leather to just show you what we got to do, because it requires a wet piece of leather, and I don't want to wet a piece of leather that's not going to be used. So we'll get those out of the way. So the way we assemble this mold, first of all, you see that kind of like alligator back? That's what I call it. I like to imprint stuff on my leather. If you're not going to imprint anything, there's one step you can leave out. But we'll get to that in just a second. So what we're going to do is after you get your mold, and look, sanding this is very important. Every edge it's got, sand every edge. Alright, then you get your regular old piece of 3/8 plywood, or not even 3/8. You get your gun slug there. Then you take your piece of wet leather. I'm going to use thin leather because I'm not going to use wet leather right now. And then most of your holsters are going to start at the grip and go about to the sight. Now if you want a flap to come up here, all you got to do is use a piece of leather that's got a flap. And you can always trim it down later. But for this, we do something like that. And then we'll take our mold, and as we put our mold down, we want to flatten that out. And we're going to sandwich that down like that. And you line these things up. Get your gun there in the center. Then we do something like that. Now, you know how when you paint out of a bucket, and you run the roller up and down? This is all that is, a little piece of expanded metal. Since I like to imprint stuff on my holsters, we could do that. The piece of foam is to press this into the leather. If you're not going to do this, you don't even need the piece of foam. You could simply do like that, put C-clamps on it. I use deep-throated C-clamps, at least one of them, to get into the middle. But let's say that we were going to imprint. Here's a smaller piece of expanded metal. This goes on a grill to keep your small food from dropping in. And it will imprint as well. So we just do that. See that pattern right there? You can imprint that on a gun. This is just the foam that you stand on. It comes in 2x2 squares. So we put that right there. Another piece of thin plywood right there. And then put your C-clamp on, C-clamp on. Remember, the leather's wet. Leave it set for about 24 hours, and then check this video out. I do have a video of me taking it apart. The leather's dry. I took the clamps off. Let's pull it apart and see what we got. Well, it looks pretty good shape-wise. The impressions are good enough. Get pretty good sharp lines. Yeah, that's going to make an acceptable holster. So, after you watch that video, basically take the clamps off, you take all these parts off, you lift this out, and you got this left over. So, that's molten leather. I mean, you can tell, well, sort of. You can tell this is not even stitched to a back, and it's already, you know, it sets in there pretty well. So, this is going to end up looking like this in video number 2. So, I'm Chris from Key Farm. Let me see, I'm going to have Harley pop up over there. If part 2's been done, part 2 will be right here, and other cool stuff down there. So, I don't think I left anything out. The time lapse is coming up. Please watch the time lapse. It's everything, but you don't have to wait on it long. Alright, Chris from Key Farm. Love God, love people. Bye.